Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new video tutorial, and in the next video tutorial I'm going to explain how I paint the orange hair of this lady. This has been requested if I can do a short explanation how to do it, so I look for another miniature to try to reproduce what I did here. So this is going to be the weekly of this, the weekly painting of this week. So I will explain how to do this orange hair that can be used also for the dwarf slayers, or even for some barbarians or dark elder, if you want to paint this type of orange, bright orange hair. If you want to be better pictures, this is the miniature that I just did a showcase before this video, so you can go to the link below and you will find more pictures and more explanation of this miniature. So the miniature I'm trying to use for this tutorial is this one. I will paint the beard and the hair with the same type of bright orange. The only thing here is that you can see the texture of the hair is not the same, so I will try to reproduce as much as possible what I did here on that miniature. As you can see, as the preparation I did, this miniature was primed in black, but I decided to first paint all the hair, give a layer of white. So I will start like if there is white primer instead of black primer. I also paint the color of the face because it's for me later on to be easier to paint this miniature. So the colors I'm going to use for this is the base color is going to be Fire Dragon Bright. I'm going to use a glaze that is bloodletter glaze, and I'm going to use golden yellow. Some are from this is from the old range. I don't know exactly what is the current and the same color in the current range, but these are mainly the colors that I'm going to use for this tutorial. So the first thing that I'm going to do on that miniature is I'm going to apply a layer of Fire Dragon Bright. This is what I paint first on white because I want that the color is very bright. I'm looking for a very bright orange, so I will apply a thin layer of this orange on the hair. It's important that we try to respect and not to cover any of the detail. We want to keep the texture that the miniature have in that area. We want to keep all the different sculpt texture of the miniature, because the glaze is going to give all the shades that we need there. Maybe this time the orange is not going to be as bright as in the other case, because the other miniature was primed completely in white. But after giving a layer of white, I think it will work correctly. So I will give just a thin layer. It's important that you water down if it's possible, or you thin the paint. In my case, you can see that the paint is quite thin. I'm just applying a layer, and I will do the same on the beard and mustache. So just a thin layer, and we will let it dry completely before doing the next one. So you can see it's, sorry if I'm covering the miniature with my hand, I try to. Okay. This is also working, as I say, this is the hair. If you are doing a dwarf slayer, or you're doing some barbarians, you're doing for example dark elf, or especially dark elder witches, it's a very nice color to it that will give a very nice contrast. You can see I apply all the. It's important that this layer is uniform, it's well done, that we don't leave any spot on paint, and we paint it correctly. And now we will need to wait until this layer is completely dry before applying the next layer. So this is the first layer, and now I will be back once it's completely dry. So once the orange is completely dry, the next step that we will do is we'll apply bloodletter. This is a glaze from Games Workshop. I prefer to use this than a wash. It's almost orange, and well, it's orange more than red. And this will give it's much more a vibrant color than in the case of the washes that they do. So this way, in using this one, is going to give a very nice vibrant color, and I think it's the key of this process. As you can see, the texture is not as visible as in the other miniature. I will share here it's going to give some visibility of the texture, but this plastic miniature doesn't have the texture as visible as in the case of the one that I paint from Reaper Miniatures. But you can see that it's giving a very nice color, will give a very nice touch. So, and again, like a wash, you have to wait some time that this is completely dry before applying the next layer. So be sure that you apply this uniformly all over the area, and it's well done. And once this is completely dry, we will be ready for the next step. You can see I look that I don't miss any part. So this is how it's looking like after applying the glaze, and now I'm going to wait. I have to say that in the case of the Reaper miniature that I paint, this one, the texture was much more visible, so in that case was easier to make the shading. Here is more challenging miniature because the hair have not this deep texture, but I will try to reproduce the best I can. Okay, so if you want to do this on a Slayer, a Dwarf Slayer, or even one of the new miniatures, you will see that the texture is much more visible. Here will work much easier. In case here is not working, I will do this Slayer later on to show here in another miniature how to do it well. This was a miniature that I just buy in second hand. This is not painted by me. I will strip on and paint on this one. So let's wait that this glaze is dry before doing the next layer. So now that the wash is dry, the next step is I will apply again Fire Dragon Bright. So this time I will apply on the strategic parts. In the case of the previous miniature, I was applying this on the hairs. Here I will apply here, for example, on the mustache, doing this type of vertical strokes to give the sensation of the hair. For example, here on the beard, I will follow, if I see some texture, I will follow this texture and add more at the end of the beard. You see, I will just try to emphasize the areas that I think should be brighter. And then on top of the hair, I will do the same. In the case of the other miniature, what I was doing, I was following following these parts and was doing all these different hairs because they're quite thick. Was doing them again with this orange. So here, because the hair are not as thick as in the other miniature, what I'm doing is I'm just following. If I see some, I'm trying to do the edge, but in an irregular way. In that way, I try to reproduce the hair effect. I do all around here on the edge. Then on top, I will try to follow. So here it's more like dots. Okay, this is quite subtle. And then the next step, I will start applying golden yellow. And I will follow the same process. I will not do dye brush because here the dye brush is, I think it's too messy. What I will do is I will apply from the edge and go up. And let the yellow is quite transparent and it's not covering too much this yellow. I just doing this effect. For example, on the mustache, I will apply just on the edge. Here, if you see that it's too much, I will take a little bit of the orange and just soften it down. But this is the idea. The idea is you put the yellow starting from the edge and going up. And here on the top, for example, this one that is quite visible here, I will do just a little bit like that. And I will do the same on the other side. So you follow the mustache. Okay, if you see that it's too visible the yellow, I suggest you use a little bit of the orange and you will be compensated. You see that now here on the top of the hair. Sometimes you can also do what I just did now with the finger. You see that there is too much, just with your finger you rub it out. So as you see, I'm just following the edge. In that case, the sculpt of the hair is not that visible, what making more difficult to make a nice work like the one I did on the other video. But when you have this, you try to follow. You can do it with the brush directly, making these vertical strokes as I say before, and just making this more irregular. So you see this how will look like. I will do all the round. Okay, and then if you want some extra shade somewhere, in that case is the only moment I will use a little bit of the red wash that is called Carlsberg Crimson, but you only apply that very little and in the areas that you want to make it darker. So for example, we'll apply a little bit here, not too much, just below the mustache, the way the mustache is going to be more visible. a little bit here, for example, the split of the bear. Okay, and then here I will just apply a little bit at the base. Don't waste all the hair, just put on the side places that you want to create this type of shadow. So, and this will be the work in a small minute. You see that the work, this is how to do it. This was the example. This is another one. This is a little bit more clear because here we have more texture to play with in that one. But this is the way to do it. This is the way I did this one. I follow the same way. The difference is this have much more texture, and if you give him much a nicer look because of the texture, have more deepness. Here, because I don't have all this deepness that have in that texture, I have to try to simulate it with the brush. So I hope this tutorial is helpful for you and it's useful in case you want to do orange hair. This is the one of the ways to do it. Please let me know what you think. If you like it, if you find this too much work for hair, let me know what do you think, if you will like this type of tutorials. And if you have any other question that you want to be covered in this weekly painting, please just drop me a message and I will try to do the best I can to cover your question. So thanks a lot for watching. Please comment below, like if you like it, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Thanks a lot for watching and see you again later. Bye.